Today is sourdough bread making day. So last night I took my starter out of the refrigerator to reactivate it. I also took out some filtered water and my bread machine yeast so that those could come to room temperature as well, because you always want room temperature ingredients. So my starter is looking pretty active. It's got some nice bubbles going. So what I need to do now is I just need to feed my sourdough starter, and then this afternoon it will be ready for us to make the bread. My starter is 2 months old at this point. I found a real simple recipe on Pinterest, and it just kind of walked me through the steps. And so far, we've had great success with it. I think I've made probably like 5 loaves of bread with the starter so far. All right, got some good bubbles going on in there. I don't know if you can see that. Got some really good bubbles. You can see it on the side. Alright, so now I'm just going to feed it, and then this afternoon we'll be ready to go in making our bread. Okay, so our sourdough is fed and active, and we are ready to make our bread. Okay, so we are ready to make our bread now. Got all my ingredients out, and like I said, I use my bread machine. I have the Frigidaire bread machine, and then I have this No Fuss bread machine cookbook, and I've been using the bread machine for like about a year now, and it's been going great. I used to make like a faux sourdough out of a recipe out of the cookbook. So then I wanted to get into just regular sourdough, but I like the convenience of my bread machine. And I found on Pinterest, like I said, I found on Pinterest just a simple starter, how to make your own starter recipe. So I followed that, and my starter is about 2 months old now. And I've had good success in the bread machine, but so I have all my ingredients laid out, and depending on what bread machine you have, follow those instructions as far as how your ingredients go, the order that they go in. So for the Frigidaire, my wet ingredients go in and then the dry ingredients on top. I know some bread machines, it's the opposite, dry first and then wet on top. So whatever your bread machine is recommending, you follow that. So I'm going to start with, have my starter here, and I'm going right into my bread pan. Next, I'm going to put in my water. Now I'm going to keep my water handy because we're going to check the dough when it's cooking. And then I'm going to put in salt. And then I have some honey. Okay, so after the honey, we're ready to put in our flour. And I use the King Arthur's bread flour. And I'm going to just use my fingers and just kind of move it around so that all the liquid is covered. And then on top of the flour, I've got my yeast. And this is bread machine yeast. Okay, so now we are ready to put our bread pan into the maker. Snap it into place. I like to put my sourdough bread on the French bread setting of the bread maker. And then I also like to do a dark crust. Most of the recipes call for a light to medium crust. I personally prefer to have a dark crust on my sourdough. And so at this point, we're going to turn it on, let it do its thing. It's going to go through a stir, rest, and we're going to watch the dough because you do want to have a good dough ball. If your dough is too shaggy, you're going to want to add some water. If the dough is too sticky, then we're going to add some more flour. So that's why I'm going to keep my water handy and my flour handy. So here we go. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at our bread. As you can hear, it is going. I'm going to flip you around. Let's take a look. It is coming together. It's looking a little sticky. I might throw a little more flour in at this point. Okay, so it has completed its first stir. It's now resting. What I'm going to do is take my spoon and I'm just going to scrape down some of those sides. I did add a little more flour, so we're probably going to have a good dough ball the next time it starts stirring. Okay, it's on its second stir cycle. It's still looking a little wet to me, the dough, and I think I'm just going to add just a little bit more flour. After this, I think is our only chance to get this dough to be like a good dough ball, because then it's going to start its ferment and proofing process. So let's get some more flour in this. All right, I added some more flour and we have got a pretty good dough ball going. You want to hear it slap against the pan. That is going to help that gluten and the flours and all of the goodness start to proof, and then we're gonna have a pretty good rise. So that looks great. So I'm gonna not add any more flour or water, and then we'll see how this goes, and I'll check back and we'll look at the rise of it. Check in on our dough one last time. That is a good ball. Good ball, and it's picked up all the sides. Doesn't look shaggy, it doesn't look too wet. All right, now we're just gonna let it do its thing. It's going to finish this, and then it's gonna give you a chance to add anything. I'm not adding anything to my dough. We're just gonna have plain, regular sourdough bread for sandwiches. So we'll see you back with the finished product. I just wanted to check on my bread. It is currently baking, so let's take a look into the window. Oh, we've got a good rise. We are looking a little lopsided, but I'm sure it tastes great. It's starting to split, typically like a sourdough would, just to let the gases escape. So we're going to let this continue baking. Okay, our bread is done. I've had it sitting in the pan resting for about 8 to 10 minutes, and we're ready to turn it out and take a look. All right, here's our bread. It looks great. I love the crust on it. It has some classic tears like a sourdough does, so I'm really looking forward to it. So it's just going to hang out here on the board and cool completely before we cut into it. So I just wanted to say thanks for hanging out with me today and making some bread. I hope you had a great time. I know I did. So please like and subscribe, all the things. And I can't wait to see you next time. Blessings, my friend. Bye.